I don't think they've made a decision. I think that they are definitely interested because the Eagles are a quarterback-minded type of team. And, the owner, and I don't think he's got to apologize for being like that. But he knows that, look, this is a quarterback-driven league.
And they're coming out of the bye, and they got that same Washington team this weekend. And we bring our friend from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, Garry Cobb, into this. And Garry, let me start it out by saying this to you here. Do you think the front office with the Eagles, Howie, the owner, do you think they know right now what their plans are for 2022 and 2023? Or do you think these next couple of weeks still going to determine what direction they go next year? I mean, because think about it. Look at the dual track plans they have going on right now, Garry. San Francisco, they got Trey Lance and waiting. They're not pulling Garoppolo out of there. Look at what they got in Green Bay. They got Jordan Love there, and they've got Aaron Rodgers. They've got all these guys in waiting. I threw out this morning here, I said, why not do this? Why not go this route? Give Jalen 2022. Draft a quarterback in the first round, maybe at 11. You open it up in 2023. If one of those guys aren't your guy, you trade out of these next two picks that you have going into the 2022 draft. You turn them into more first rounders, and maybe you go after the kid from Alabama. What says you on where they are right now? Do you think they know what they're going to do?
No, I don't think they know what they're going to do. I just think that, nobody's jumped out. I mean, you look at the talent. I mean, of course, Bryce Young, of course, he looks like he's a special talent, but he's not there yet, so you can't, if they could, they would say, yeah, we'll take him. But none of these other guys have really jumped out at anybody. You don't hear a name that's resonating this late. Usually they've already got their eye on somebody. The guys, the special talents have really just kind of shown up. I don't see that person. And I think with Jalen, it's, you like some things, but clearly he has not sold it up. You can't say sold it up. You could say that he has shown some of the qualities, but the big quality you want, which is, he's shown it with his legs, but with his arm, you can't say he's shown us that, look, he is the guy. Now, Justin Herbert, you look at him, you look at Josh Allen yesterday, you can see his talent, but nobody's jumped out at anybody yet. And I think what they're looking at is they're considering all of the options. I think that they are, they look at some of the quarterbacks that you might be able to get, but are they going to be able to get them? Do those elite quarterbacks want to come here and they see where they got enough receivers they're throwing the ball to? No, nobody's going to get excited about playing here just yet. So I think it's a kind of thing. It's all in progress, but I really don't think that they've made a decision. And I haven't heard anything. I'm around there. I talk to people that are around the Eagles. They say they're looking, and everything is still up in the air. But they do want to give Jalen a chance. So I would say right now the options are, I think that the most likely thing is that Jalen is going to be here again next year as a quarterback, unless something miraculous happens. Now, are they going to be in the talks? Are they around there, finding out what's going to happen with the, of course, with a young quarterback, coming out of, down there in Houston, But there are so many question marks about his situation,
Yeah.
You really don't know. So I don't think they've made a decision. I think that they are definitely interested because the Eagles are a quarterback-minded type of team. And, the owner, and I don't think he's got to apologize for being like that. But he knows that, look, this is a quarterback-driven league. You know, it is. I mean, looking at Brady there yesterday, you look, how many times? I mean, nobody's thrown for 300 yards against Buffalo, man. He carves them up. You know, they come back, and when it's on the line, he throws a dime, boom. Everybody drives safely.
Yeah. Hey, keep your ticket stubs because you'll want to remember that.
And you also, the thing is, Matt Jones, which it proves that the quarterback position is so important in the NFL. That's why Jeffrey Lurie is driven, you know, the organization that way. And you can't blame him because this is a quarterback-centered league. If you got a special talent, what about Aaron Rodgers yesterday?
Ugh.
How many times?
Gary, I've said this before. I've never seen a guy spin that pill the way he does. And
he can spin it. Can he spin it?
Hey, man, and the accuracy, the touch. Man, how about when he went over the linebacker down in the corner of the end zone down there, and I'm sitting there going, you know how many guys make that pass? Two dudes in the league make that pass. You know, you brought a point up, though. You mentioned Josh Allen. You mentioned Justin Herbert. And let me throw in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Those guys were drafted, but get this, other guys and multiple picks ahead of them.
Yes.
Those guys were picked. I mean, there was a big question mark on Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming. There was a big question mark with Mahomes coming out of Texas Tech. I mean, all of these guys here. What is the one intangible that you think is the most difficult intangible for evaluators to evaluate at that position? Because, man, it's so hit and miss at that position in the draft.
Well, you know, you got to process so much information so quickly. You know, you can see whether they have the arm or not. Do they have the arm talent? But then they've got to process that information, and, you know, they got to be able to do it in an instant, you know, and you know, some guys, you know, of course, a lot of them take a while to develop in the area, but you know, some guys are special. They're able to do it. They come up to the line, boy, they're on it. And it's just, I think that's the toughest thing. And that's where with Jalen, you know, we saw some of that with Minshew, where he processes the information. He's getting the ball out of his hands. And you see, you got a guy with a seasoned mind, but he doesn't have the arm. And he's not he's not a Josh Allen. He's not, he's not a big, you know, athletic type guy. So, but he doesn't have that arm strength, you know. The touchdowns he threw. You go back and look at the touchdowns he threw to Dallas Goedert. The ball's just hanging up there, you know. That's those kind of throws get picked off a lot of times in the NFL.
Gary, you're still suspect on Jalen, then, yes?
No, well, yeah. I mean, I don't think I could say that he's definitely the guy. Even though I like some of the things, and I'm willing to give him some more time. Now, I tell you what, we could come out next year, and boy, he's getting that ball out of his hands, zoom, zoom, you know, and we say, hey, you know what? He's our guy. You know, I still think there's time for it because he's still developing. But
you don't see Kyler Murray there.
Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, I can't say Kyler Murray. No, I mean, I can't say he's shown that yet. You know. Now, you know, Murray, now you bring him up. See, that's a special talent, man.
And Gary, he's gotten better every single year in every game he's in.
Yeah.
You see him look at his completion percentage. He's over 70% this year.
Yeah.
It's like insanity. I mean, he's gotten better every year. And with Cliff Kingsbury, it just shows you too, right? I mean,
now look at where they're at. Look at where they're at. They're sitting atop the NFL. Now, because when you have that special talent at that quarterback position, it's a separator, you know. It just makes all the other guys better, and of course, doesn't help to have that other talent, you know, the other talent around there and everything. But you know, I still think the potential is there for Jalen. The potential's there because he shows it at times. You know, he looks, but you know, he's got to be able to dial it up, put that ball on the money, know where he's going with the ball. And, you know, I do like the fact that he's a worker. He's a guy that's committed because that's something you have to work at. I mean, I think about Brady when you had a young Tom Brady. Belichick, he wasn't putting all that weight on him. They weren't throwing the ball a lot. We're going to run the ball, and they're going to beat you with their defense, and Brady was going to take care of the ball. And He knew how to take what the defense gave him, take care of the football. That's who went. See, and that's where really with Jalen is he would be regarded further along. You take that Giant game out, and what did he do at the Giant game? He was being greedy. That's all.
Yeah.
Wasn't where he was throwing horrible passes. He was being greedy when he didn't have to be, especially against the Giants. The Giants aren't going to score more than 14 points in a game. You know that going in. So you don't want to be greedy against them. You might have to try to be greedy against teams that are going to score a lot of points. But against a Giants team, you go into the game knowing if we score 17 points, we got another W. You know that.
Absolutely. Let me go here with you here. At the beginning of the year, I just told this to people. Hey, Garry, you know this as well as anybody. You've been around the game for so many years. But, at the beginning of the year, if you were to tell Philadelphia Eagle fans this, I'll give you a choice between Urban Meyer or Nick Sirianni as your head football coach. Everybody on the planet would have put their hand up and went, give me Urban. He's a proven winner. Go ahead and give him to me. It just shows you, right, Garry, when you haven't understood what the NFL game is all about, especially putting your time in as an assistant coach, like the players put their time in, and you don't understand the game, that thing could be a train wreck in seconds. And it's a train wreck in Jacksonville. It shows you, right? I mean,
that's
Sirianni,
right.
He's doing a great job compared to what we're seeing down in Jacksonville.
That is definitely correct. And, it just seems like, it's just out of control down there, man. It's like, something is burning and they can't find out where the hose is for the water. And it's just burning. I mean, this early. And usually they'll give you a year, but coming to that second year, you're supposed to start seeing the semblance of something, meaning that they're putting together something. You're supposed to see something start coming together. But you look down there, you don't see that. And really for that, the young quarterback down there, he can't be happy with what he's been thrown into. And they're probably they're putting too much pressure on that kid, because you want to slow feed him. Even if you're going to lose, you lose where you're running the ball and you're taking care of the ball at least, but they just seem like it's just mayhem down there.
It's complete chaos. Let me throw one also to this. The internet was blowing up over the weekend because, Parsons, as you see with Dallas, he is. I make this comparison. When I see Parsons, people want to throw LT, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
More like a Ricky Jackson kind of guy, like that, a bigger dude, because LT ran that hula hoop like very few people ever did, getting around that corner. I don't think there'll ever be a linebacker pass rusher like that. Maybe Derek Thomas was in that category. But, do you think, if you look back on that, I mean, Garry, they had a shot at him, the Eagles. You think they're all good? They think they're all good with Devontae looking back on that and going like this? Amen. Because they drafted from the perimeter. You and I want to build teams from the inside out. How do you think they look at that?
I think they still feel good about Devontae.
Okay.
I mean, but they're looking over their shoulder. They're going like, my God, look at this kid. And I tell you, I saw the kid when he was 14 or 15. And he really had an NFL body then. He was 14 or 15 years old. Just a freshman in high school, the NFL had identified him as a surefire NFL player. Because
Garry, do you think teams got scared because he opted out of COVID his last year at Penn State?
Yeah.
And like Kevin Colbert said at Pittsburgh, he said he was going to kind of hold that against some of the players that didn't play through COVID last year. And do you think that also kind of maybe made the Eagles pause a little bit that he didn't play a year ago?
Maybe it did. I could see where I think they probably did hold that against them some, because they took off that last year. And but when he decided to do it, as I start thinking about, the kind of money he's looking at and everything, and I mean, and I love playing in college and everything, but look, how much money is the kid talking about? He's going to chance all of that to play at Penn State, and Penn State's great. I mean, I love college football. But when you're talking about that kind of money,
yeah,
you can understand why this kid, he'd already shown everybody everything he needed to show him. And the kid,
yes.
As fast as he is, as big and powerful as he is, and it's just like, he's going to do nothing but get better and smarter. They have got, this kid can do everything. And, he could cover a pass if you needed him to. He's just a phenomenal athlete at his size to be running with guys. But the big thing he's got is he's got instincts. He's got great linebacker instincts where he knows where he's always going to be around the ball. And he's just a great athlete. And to see him go around, I'm trying to remember the guard for Washington, the Pro Bowl guard.
I can't think of him either.
I'm trying to remember his name. He's been there for a while because he always had battles with Fletcher Cox for years. But anyway, he beat him like a drum, man. Went around him, like attacked his shoulder, and he's not really as a specialist as a pass rusher. He's doing that as they're asking him, what could you rush the passer to? He's just amazing, and what he's doing to the NFL, I've never seen anybody do this to the NFL. He's making guys look like they don't even belong. Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Yeah.
Gary, you mentioned something. Maybe the difference from our time to today is the hybrid guy and the versatility. Like when you and me played, like when you played,
yeah,
you were an inside linebacker, outside linebacker. You were gonna. These guys today could go 34, 43, put their hands in the dirt, stand up, do this, play a tight end like Gronk, get on. There's so much more versility, and I'm not suggesting players. See now, there's more of that in today's game, right? Do you agree?
Yes, there are. There are, and see the big thing I see also is you see these tweeners.
Yes,
which is you see these
Kevin Green kind of guy.
Yeah, where you got guys who they can play wide out or they could be a tight end. That's what you got in Micah Parsons. You got a guy who could be a defensive end. He could be a linebacker, or he could be a DB. He's fast enough to be a defense. He could be a safety,
Runs a 4.3.
For that matter, really a cornerman. The kid runs a 4.3.
Yeah.
So to be that kind of athlete,
that's
4.3. It's just a matter of him staying healthy. The kid's going to do some phenomenal things.
Gary, 4.3 at that size and speed.
4.3 at that size.
It's crazy.
You can see he's got that kind of burst where he closes on people. He's just an outstanding athlete. But like I said, he was imposing. Now, it just so happened. I wish I had. I'm going to try to get the tapes of the 2 interviews. I talked to 2 people when they were in high school that left me with my mouth open. One of the guys was Micah Parsons. You know who the other guy was?
Who?
LeBron James.
Wow.
Both of them in high school were like grown men. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing in high school? LeBron was like that too. Muscles bulging out all over the place. Standing there, looking down at me, of course, both of them. And I'm talking to them, and they're in high school. And you're going like, what's wrong with this?
Great. And I heard LeBron was a hell of a football player too.
He was a specimen too. He's the same kind of guy who just phenomenal athlete, just built like a machine with speed and size. That's Parsons and LeBron James. I saw both of those in high school. They were both like that. Where you going like, where did they get this kid at?
No doubt about it here.
Yeah.
Gary, why is it so difficult when divisional teams play each other every year? It's almost like watching Army-Navy games because you really do kind of throw the records out. Again, it's going to be Washington and Philadelphia this weekend. What makes those games so much more closer and tighter and tougher, those divisional games, than maybe compared to other games in the NFL when you play them on weekends?
Well, I just think the thing gets more personal. It's you know those guys better because you play them every year. So that's what I was talking about with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Scherf. they've been battling each other, going at it. And so they know, hey, they're going to see each other one more time this season. So, it's personal. It means more. It just, that you're fighting always for this division. And they always put everything into these games. I mean, they always get it's a hard fought contest. They know each other, so it's going to be a fight up front, and it's going to be a play here or there because both of the teams, whether they're having a good year or not, they're going to play each other tough because it's personal. It's almost like you're playing against one of your family members, and you're going to have to hear it if you lose to them. So the guys don't want to lose to each other because they see each other more during the offseason because, Washington's not that far away as compared to, playing somebody out west or something like that. So these guys kind of know each other. And I think because it's gotten kind of personal, when you're fighting family, that's where it gets tough. And usually these games are tight because both of these teams have been pretty good. They've been in the battle for a while, so they've always fighting each other, and I think that probably has a lot to do with it.
I think it's going to be a hell of a matchup this weekend. Gary, my friend, thank you so much for always finding time. By the way, I'll make sure I tell Seth Joyner tomorrow hello for you, too. He's coming on tomorrow, and I want to thank you for making that happen for us. Thank you, my friend.
That's great.
That is Garry Cobb there. I appreciate it. Fox 29, make sure you always check him out. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. As you heard me say, Seth Joyner will be with us tomorrow at 5:30 as well. We're going to get to a lot of things that Gary said. Gary didn't seem too sold, did he? On Jalen. Is it really his whole career? Is his Philadelphia Eagle career wrapped up in these next couple games as we finish the 2021 NFL season? We're going to hit on that. We'll do it next. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.